Grab the other red one. Courtney. The other red one. There you go.
Good morning. Thank you very much for allowing us to come and to speak to you on the journey that God has been bringing us on, and to ask you for your prayers and your support in that.
Also, thank you so much to everyone who came out yesterday. We just really appreciated seeing everybody, and for anyone who gave gifts, just thank you for your generosity.
Go to the next slide.
Oops.
Okay. One of the things that we've often been asked as we are have been preparing for leaving is why we're going. And really the short answer to that question is that God has really moved in our hearts. He's really shown us that this is where He wants us to go. This is what He wants us to be doing, is to be going over to a place where people haven't really heard the gospel. It's one of those things that we almost take for granted, is that some people around here have heard the gospel, especially where I grew up. People heard the gospel. But there are places in the world, including where we're going, that it's not the case. People have not heard the gospel, and it's something that we feel is definitely a need to be going to. So, continue. The International Mission Board, which is the company that we're going with, talks a lot about people groups. And people groups are groups that through which the gospel can go without the barriers of language or culture or anything else inhibiting it. And so far today, the IMB is numbered about 11,498 people groups. Those are not people, but they are groups of people, and anywhere from 50 to 100 people, all the way up to hundreds of thousands to millions within any particular people group. And so of those 11,498 people groups, there are about 6,800 that are considered unreached people groups. And that means that less than 2% of the population of those people groups is evangelical Christian, are even sharing the gospel, do even have the gospel. In fact, and that is just an extremely low amount of people. And so with that number of people, the gospel really is not getting out to the majority of the people in those people groups. And over 3,000 of the people groups, including several that are in the hundreds of thousands of people, have no Christian witness whatsoever. And that is something that burdens my heart. That is something that if we believe that the gospel is the only way, if we believe that Jesus is the only way to salvation, to the Father, then these people are growing up, they're living their life, and they're dying without ever hearing that there is a God that loves them and that they can be redeemed to this God. The stats are also saying about nearly 1 million people are plunging into a Christless eternity every single month in China alone. That millions of Syrian refugees are in the best place they can possibly be to start carrying the gospel. They're crossing those borders. They're getting out of Syria, and Christian missionaries are there waiting at the border and are able to share Christ with them there, meeting those physical needs. And people are coming to Christ by the hundreds there.
All right, so a lot of you know that we've been in Virginia for 2 months, going through a little over 2 months, but 9-week training process So I just thought I'd share just a little bit of what we've been doing there. A good generalization of it is that they've been teaching us to do church planting in a cross-cultural way. So how do you enter a new culture where you don't know the language? You're still learning the culture and how people do things and live life, and how do you get the gospel to people in a way that they will understand. When you get through evangelizing, when you're reaching people, how do you disciple people? How do you bring them into a church long term? How do you then train those people to go out and do what you're doing, which is to share the gospel with the people around them? So we've just been learning a lot about how to do that. A lot of that will be dependent on our language skills. For the first year and a half, at least, while we're in country, we'll just be learning the language of the people there, which is Georgian. We'll be in full-time language school. It's really important for people to hear the gospel in their heart language, and it also tells them that we are putting in the effort, that we are putting in the time to get to know them as people and as individuals, because God just loves them so much. So the training also, we were out in the community weekly, sharing the gospel, learning different tools, different methods, and how to do that. We also had a week in New York, where we went out and we were just learning, what do you do when you're dropped in a brand new city, and you're wanting to share the gospel with people. So some of it was a pretty fun experience. It was definitely intense. That seems like a really condensed version of what we went through for 9 weeks, but it was really intense classes. We were in class for probably 8 hours a day or more, just learning and soaking in as much as we can. So, next slide.
So why Georgia? Well, Georgia being a former communist, basically republic, part of the Soviet Union, has had a history of not having the gospel in there. They are one of the first nations that decided we are a Christian nation hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But from that point on, that Christian heritage has gone into legalism and the works-based understanding of the Orthodox Church. And so these people, while they think they're doing Christianity right, really don't have an understanding of grace and what Jesus has given us. Next slide, please. Now, it's really hard to see. Probably all you can see right there is green and red dots. But what you're looking at is a map. And if you if you take a Google search and Google IMB statistics, this will probably be the first page on your Google search. What it is a map of the entire world. And on that map, you'll have a bunch of green and red dots. Each one of those represents a people group. The green dots represent a people group that are considered reach, and all that only means that about 2% of the population of these are evangelical Christians. And you'll see a lot of that in North America, South America, and in Southern Africa and Australia. But what you see is in Asia, in Europe, and Northern Africa is a bunch of red dots. Those are unreached peoples. Those are unengaged peoples that don't have access to the gospel, people that need to hear it. And right there, just on the east side of the Black Sea, you'll see a close-up on the next slide, is Georgia, a bunch of red dots. Tbilisi itself is an urban center of 1.125 million people, and represented in that city, the city that we'll be going to, are about 15 people groups in that city, and 12 are unreached. 12 out of 15 people groups don't have adequate access to the gospel. And 3 of those are completely unengaged. Don't have it at all. And that doesn't even include the outside villages surrounding them. Next slide.
All right, so what we'll be doing. I already talked a little bit about this, but really the big focus from the time that we hit the ground in Tbilisi is to learn the language. The people of Georgia, they do have some English speakers, but chances are you're not going to be able to communicate deep topics with them. They might be able to tell you where the subway is in English, but trying to communicate something like the gospel is something that really needs to be done in their heart language, a language they've been speaking for a while. Now, it'll take us a while to get to that point. When we first arrive, we'll be lucky if you speak as well as a toddler does. So we would really appreciate your prayers that God would just give us grace in learning the language. While we're learning the language, we'll continue to try to share the gospel. We do have teammates there. There's a couple with 3 kids who will be in the city that we're living in, who are also with the company that we're with. So we're hoping, at least while we're learning the language, we'll be able to help them with the ministries that they have, and learn from them, and really just learn how to do ministry well in Tbilisi from them. They've been there about 5 years, so we really hope to just learn a lot from them. As we're learning the language, as we're getting better at learning the language, our focus is evangelism, broad gospel sowing. We hope to get to the point of churches that multiply churches. We hope to start small groups that then become churches that then plant other churches in the area and really start, we really just hope that God starts an amazing movement in Tbilisi. These are just some pictures of what the people look like. So we won't look too different besides my red hair, because that's a little strange there. Keep going.
Okay. So the question is, how can you be a part of this? And next slide. First off, share the gospel here. We're all part of bringing his gospel to the nations. Please be sharing the gospel here. That is part of every Christian's duty, commandment, and the part of the commission. And next, the next part is to pray for us. Please pray that we be walking in the Spirit, that we be dependent on God, who is the one who is orchestrating all these things. Be praying for our language acquisition, for strength and wisdom, for relationships with nationals and with our teammates, and that people will be open to the gospel. I want to share a story in the next few minutes with you, and I think you'll understand why. It's a story that's become very close to my heart. It's from a missionary from Northern Ireland in the 1950s that went to the Belgian Congo, which is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And this is a story that she told as when she came back to the people that were part of her sending church. She was a doctor in the Congo, and she was helping a woman who had come to the orphanage and was in labor, was giving birth, and despite everything they were able to do, the lady died, and she left behind a premature baby and a 2-year-old without a mother. And so the student midwives, once the baby was born, ran off to get what they needed to help. The baby, despite what you may think, being on the equator, the nights still get really cold. And so the baby was really in desperate danger of dying from the chill that night. So what they had brought from home hot water bottles. And the midwife ran with the hot water bottle to fill it up so that the baby would be warmed that night. And when she filled it up, it burst. The equatorial climate is not conducive to rubber lasting very long, and unfortunately that was their last one. She came back, she told Helen what had happened, and she was like, okay, well, it's no use crying over this, we have to do something. She told the midwife, okay, your job tonight is to keep this baby warm. Put her as close to the fire as you possibly can and sleep between her and the door. And by God's grace, maybe this baby is going to make it through the night. So the baby survives, and the next day at noon, Helen is talking to the orphans there. And they're doing prayer requests, and she's talking about just the different needs and she tells them about the child that was born and just had these needs, and that the water bottle was burst, and that they didn't know what was going to happen. And when they prayed, this little girl, Ruth, about 10 years old, prays this prayer. So God, send us a water bottle. Tomorrow will be too late. The baby will be dead. Please send it this afternoon. And while Helen was gasping at the audacity of this prayer, wondering if she could even say amen, believing that God could do this, the little girl says, and please send a dolly so that the little girl, a 2-year-old, would know that you love her. And Helen is walking away from this, thinking about this prayer, and about mid-afternoon, she's doing some of her other duties, and there's a message that comes to her. It said a car showed up. This has never happened. Okay, this wasn't something that was on a routine basis. This was enough to send a message out to her, and she's thinking, what happened? And so she's going, and she gets there. The car's already left, but on the porch was left a 22-pound parcel from the post. That also never happened. And so she's thinking about this little girl's prayer, and with shaking hands lifts up this parcel. She can't even open it. She calls everybody together. They're all looking as they open this parcel. And so they pull out jerseys, they pull out bandages, and at the bottom, as she reaches in, she pulls out a hot water bottle. And right next to it is a little doll. Rewind about 5 months, and her sending church, her Sunday school class in Northern Ireland, was packing up a parcel, the first one they'd ever sent to her in 5 years. And one of the ladies came in to that packing party and said, I don't know why, but the Holy Spirit just put on my heart that I need to send this. And she brought up a hot water bottle, and it's like, I don't know why, but I need to send it. They put it in there, and one of the little girls that was there with her moms wanted to be a part of it, and put in her doll right next to the water bottle. And when that parcel showed up in the Congo, 5 months later, to the request of that little girl, praying in faith for the needs that they had that day, it's an amazing thing.
Amen.
And we serve an amazing God, one who is not bound by time or space or anything else,
Amen.
as we pray in faith. And so when we ask for your prayers, we know that that's the God to whom you're speaking. And we value you very much. So we thank you for your prayers. Thank you for allowing us to share our heart with you. Our prayer cards are out on the front table if you want to take one of those and be lifting us up before God regularly. We appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Anybody here need help in the flesh?
Amen.
The rest of you, we have altar time in just a moment. All right, let's stand and read a few verses today. You see, we're going to kind of jump around the chapter. We'll start in verse 1, make our way to 7 and 8, 18 through 25. All right. Happy to be in church? Amen. All right, let's read the Word of God, and then let's go to the Word of prayer. Verse number 1, know ye not, brethren. It's pretty apparent who he's speaking to. He's speaking to the brethren. That means he's speaking to the believers. Let's look a little further. He says, for I spake to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. Let's jump over to verse 7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, Thou shalt not covet. Verse 8, but sin taking occasion by the commandment wrought or worked in me all manner of, that simply means lust. For without the law sin was dead. Sin was dead without the law. Let's drop down to verse number 18 now and through 25. Mike, I got a little music coming back to me. Verse 18, for I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would, or the things that I know to do, he says, those I do not. But the evil which I wrought, or work, or know to do, look what he says about that. I know the things I know not to do, that's what I'm doing. He said, for now if I do that, I would not. It is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. He said, I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man, but I see another law in my members warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from this body of death? The answer to that question is verse 25. I thank God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then, with the mind I may serve the law of God, but with the flesh the law of sin. Let's pray. Father, we love you. Thank you for another time you've given us to come to church. Thank you, God, for these who have come presented their word. I pray your hand, blessing, and will be upon their lives, not just for today, but, Lord, in the days and weeks and years to come, God. I pray you give them a burning desire to please you wherever they may be, whether that's stateside or abroad. I pray you fill their hearts with your love that they can share the gospel. Lord, that same message that we need to share one to another, I pray you burn that within our hearts, that we too would represent you in every full capacity way. Lord, that's in thought, word, and deed, everything that we are a part of, God. I pray you give us an opportunity to express you. Lord, I pray just for a few moments today as you help us to preach, help us to share these things that you share with our heart this week. Help us to preach in a timely fashion, Lord, and when all is said and done, we can leave here saying it's been good to be in the house of the Lord. Lord, I pray that you give me breath, will, and ability, and I pray that you just for a few moments forgive this wretched man that I am. Maybe we'll stand before this people today, Lord, knowing that we all need help and it only comes from you. Lord, I pray you save the lost that may be amongst us, as well as revive the one who's furthest away from you, that's a believer. Lord, we love you and thank you for these that have come in your precious name. Amen. Amen. You may be seated. All right, let's share a few things with you about this chapter now, as we have been preaching through the book of Romans. Not every week have we found our place going through the entire chapter, but today that will be the case for chapter number 7. This has been known as the chapter of ye, I, and we. So as you look through there, you read through your Bible throughout the week, and I pray that you do, you take the time to circle, underline those 3 words, ye, I, and we. What Paul is writing to us here, he's talking in general terms, then he's talking in personal terms, and again in the broader term of the church, in the term of we. So when he's speaking here about these things, I want you to notice that he says in the first line of chapter number 7, verse 1, he says, know ye. That's a general term he's speaking to the believers, because we see the next word is the brethren. He's speaking to us. He's telling us, know ye not that I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. These next few verses, 1 through 6, is kind of a little synopsis of how a marriage would work. What I want you to understand is that in this little simple setting of 1 through 6, he's trying to tell us about how that someone is free to marry only after that spouse has died off. Now, this is the wording of Romans chapter number 7, verses 1 through 6. Then we find out that we come to the conclusion of that in those first 6 verses. Then I want you to see with me in verse 7. He says, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law has said, thou shalt not covet. If we're married to the Lord and coveting after something that's not right or against Him, that's not pleasing to the Father. Amen. Amen. I'll say that again. If we are born-again believers and we're lusting after worldly things and things of desires of the flesh more than we are things of the spiritual side of God, then we are not well-pleasing in the sight of God. Amen, goes there. That's the truth. We need to have our mindset upon the things of the Lord. So I want you to see in a little bit of a contrast now between the law and grace. The law reigns and has power, listen, only while it has life. Grace ceases all bondage and authority of the law upon death. Simply put, I am free to remarry if my spouse has passed. The only way we're going to be able to leave that old relationship is if we literally put that to death and move on to the grace part of Jesus Christ. You understand that setting? Amen? All right, that's this comparison here. The law says it is ruling and oppressive. Grace is leading and liberating. Which one of those two do you want? Who wants to be under ruling and oppression? Volunteer. Almost had me there. All right, now how many of us want to be under leading and liberating grace? Amen? Right? We would always prefer the greater side of it than the bad side or the sorrowful side. Here's a couple more things. The law is bound, but longing to be free. Have you ever been driving down the street, there's nobody around, and you know this is the binding, but longing to be free? You're driving down this particular street, there's nobody around. I don't know about you, but between, was it Grand Lake over here? Is it Lake Grand or Grand Lake? That boulevard over there, and Wisconsin, there's a little strip right there between those two. I think it's 35, and every time I go down there, I find myself doing at least 50. Am I alone in that? No? Well, here's what I want you to see. The law is binding, but desiring to be free. Within me, I'm bound to that 35. But I'm within desiring to do 50. You with me on that? So the law is bound, but longing to be free. No one in this room today is wanting to be under the rule of the law. Nobody in this room today wants to be held down by the bondage of the law. We all want to be free, right?
Right.
So who's with me? We're going to take signs out this afternoon. A couple of you, all right? I'm right with you. All right, but here's the difference now. The law is bound but longing to be free, but grace is constrained, listen, by love. It only binds to us because of the love factor. I don't only just stay with Rhonda because she's a good cook. I stay with Rhonda because I love Rhonda. With me? I'm constrained to that. And if I went anywhere, wherever I would go, I'd find out Rhonda would be there. Because she said, if you plan on leaving, I'm going with you. Okay? All right, so here's some more things about the law. The law is kept by the bondsman. Grace abides because of compassion. The law held on by the letter, the law holds on by the letter, but grace keeps us by a seal. A law is the death by that same letter, and grace quickens us by a life of love. See, the law is oppressive and doesn't want us to have and enjoy this life. But the grace of Jesus Christ is always abounding and moving towards a quickening or bringing back to life or renewing of our life in Jesus Christ. Amen? All right, so that's quick things about introduction. Let me share with you point number one. I got four, so we have to move quickly. Number 1 point, here's what I want you to understand about the things of the flesh. Freely say, I don't understand. In reading of chapter number 7, it is one of the most difficult reads in your Bible. There's a lot of I do's and things that I know and that I would do. It's kind of a tongue twister and complicated if we don't take time to understand that. Have you ever experienced that same thing in your Christian walk? Has there ever been a day in your Christian walk where you can say that? I don't understand. I just don't really grasp that. When we look at this passage, what Paul is saying, he's trying to tell the people, this Jewish nation of the Roman people, trying to tell them, listen, don't be living there. I want you to come over and live in this grace. Their entire life has been hinged around everything pertaining to the law. You know what that simply means to them? Paul says, don't live like that anymore. They're like, what are you talking about? We have lived this way our whole lives. And matter of fact, we kind of adjusted to it, and we like it. So we can freely say, I just don't understand. Now let's look at the verses that go with that. That's in verse 15 to 17. Let me share these with you now. He says here, for that which I do, I allow not. We have to go slow because this is tongue twisters. For what I would, that word would in this passage means what I know. He said, for what I know, that do I not. Do we know it's the best thing for us to do 35 in a 35?
Yep.
How many of you do that? None of us do. I'm not the only one that's gone 50 between Wisconsin and Grand. Mike said just hallelujah. He just had a moment in the booth back there. Yeah. Look, what I want you to understand is that we know to do the right things. But the Bible tells us there's something within me that's warring against to do what's right. We know that it's the right thing to do. Here we go. Paying our tithe. But there's something within me that just says, what in the world was that? I was just attacked. You know why? I said the word tithe again. That fast. Good night. My brother just killed that adversary. Amen. All right. There's something within me that does not want to do what's right. We know to do these things that are right. But there is a war constantly within. Now let's finish that verse number 15. Freely say I don't understand. Here it is in 15. For what I would, or that I know, that do I not. But what I hate, that's the thing that I'm doing. Anybody ever been there? Yeah. I'm not asking you what that is, but I'm sure that we've all been there. We know to do right, but there's something within us that's leading us to do the wrong thing. 16, he said, if then I do that which I would or know not, I consent or I'm agreeing unto the law that it is good. Now, one more. Now, then it is no more I that do it, but what is it? But it's sin. What is that sin doing? Dwelleth. What's the kind of the attachment to the TH there? A continual process. It's dwelling within us. Now, it's not just something we're partaking in every once in a while. We fall into a trap of the enemy. This is literally talking about somebody who is living in sin, dwelling in me. That old man should be dead and buried and crucified with Christ Jesus, and we're living in the newness of life. But I don't understand how, this is what I'm looking at, I don't understand how, but every once in a while that dead, buried man rises up within me, and I see that 35-mile-an-hour sign, and I mash that pedal down, and I'm doing 70 before I know it. And we do the same thing when the Lord says, don't go over here, don't do that, don't say that, don't partake in that. We mash the pedal down and move right past the signs. And I know to do good, but within me, I don't know why, it's every once in a while I have to do wrong. I don't know why, but we simply have to say we don't understand. Let's look at A and B. Why do I do the things I hate? Why do I do those things? Because there's simply a civil war going on within me. If we could put it in real simple terms, there's a little red angel over here and a little white angel over here telling me, do this, and this one's saying, don't do that. You know that's not the right thing to do, yeah, but you'll enjoy it if you do it. Well, you may enjoy it, but the Bible says there's sin, or there's pleasure in sin, but for a moment or a season, a little time's going to pass, it's going to change, and it's not going to be as good as you thought it was. And then when that all happens, this one over here says, I told you don't do that. You with me on all this? Right. That's the inner battle that's going on within us. Paul is saying to us, freely say I don't understand what's going on. Why do I do the things that I hate? It's because that civil war that's going on inside. How many times did your parents when you were growing up said, don't do that? It's not always that they were just so disciplinarians that they didn't want you to have any fun at all. They knew that if you would do that, it would cause you harm or hurt. Yes. So many times we would look back and say, boy, I wish I would have listened. Wish I would have listened. Saved you a lot of scrapes on your knees and all the rest of that that goes with it. Letter B, freely say I don't understand why I do the things that I hate. And sin, why? Sin has made a home. Look at with me how it dwells. Look at the dwelling of that in verse number 17. But it says in the latter part, but sin that dwelleth in me. It's a continual process. Here's what William Burkett says about this. We'll get to the evicting point in a minute. He said, observe lastly about this passage 15, that a good man sometimes, through the power of corruption and the prevalency of temptation, doeth that evil which is disallowed and disapproved by his own self. Well, let me stop right there. We all know that within us, there are certain things that we should or should not be doing. No one has to stand over your shoulder and say, you ought not to be doing that.
Right.
There's a moral compass within a man who knows right from wrong. We can clearly come to that understanding and know that there are a lot of things that we've done morally that have not been good. Can I tell you, when you do things in flesh, in a moral attitude that are contrary to God, it affects you spiritually? The more things you do in the flesh and against God morally will affect you spiritually. You will begin to weaken your spiritual side of your life. Amen? If you can just turn that off and just say, I'm going to do whatever I want, then there's something going on inside there more than a struggle. Amen? Here's what he finishes out to say. He says that with the evil which dwelleth or disalloweth and disapproved by himself, he said he loathes what he does and afterwards loathes himself. The word loathe means he hates what he does, and then afterwards he said he hates himself for doing that. Have you ever been in a time of conversation or even in heat of an argument, you just said something that came out, and before you could do, you thought to yourself, I wish I'd have never said that.
Right.
Then you hate yourself for what you say. Right? You knew that you shouldn't have put yourself in that position. You knew that you shouldn't allow that thing to happen. But as soon as it does happen, afterwards you kind of hate yourself for allowing it to happen. Believe it or not, most of you did not know we're supposed to have baptism today. Guess who forgot their clothes at home? Me. Started out in one car this morning, got down to the gas station, the thing was putting, spitting, smoking all over the place. I had to go right back to the house and get another car. Guess where my clothes are?
The car.
At the house, car. Oh, wretched man that I am. I wanted to get in the flesh, go right in the house, put the car down. I didn't have time for that. I had to get in the car, get to church. And in the rush of doing all that, this wretched man that I am has forgotten some things. Do you know that it's just our natural flesh? We're just going to get so involved with life, and we're going to do things that are just so enamoring to us that we forget who we are sometimes spiritually. Yes. You're going to get so involved with your family, you're going to get so involved with things of your life that are affecting you so strongly, and an emotion's going to rise up on you. You're going to say and do and act in a way that you normally would never do that.
Right.
I remember my dad, my spiritual hero. My dad, I was helping him around the house, and in my entirety of my life, I heard my dad cuss one time, and this was that day. My dad was up on the ladder, man, he's just pounding away. I mean, look, see, he had two hammers going, both ends, just working it out, man. All of a sudden, I heard a thud. He caught his thumb, not the dad. And I heard what I heard, and here I sat at the bottom of the ladder. I was just in awe of what I just heard. Now my dad, my spiritual hero, here's what he did. He didn't come down and stand there with me and reason and tell me all the things he'd done, why he'd acted in that way. My dad led by example. He got down off the ladder. He said, son, put this hammer, put this ladder away, and come in the house. Yes, sir. I put those back in the garage. I come right in the house. Where's my dad? At the table with his Bible out, praying before God for a little slip of the tongue.
Amen.
Can I tell you, the reason I think he was there, because not only what William Burkett said here in the final stages, he said he loathes what he does, and afterwards he loathes himself for doing it. Not only did my dad feel sorrowful for what he'd done, but what I was able to hear that my dad had done. May I tell you today, church, it's very important for you to act, walk, and live just like a Christian you say you are, because there are people that...
Amen, right.
Amen.
Right.
He led by example. He didn't teach me to cuss. He taught me to get things right with God. As soon as it happened, he took me right in the house, and we went over the Word of God. I thought that was a good example. Amen?
Amen.
All right, so what do we see here? Let's not just be wrapped up in where we are and freely say, I just don't understand. Number two, Mike, let's move as quick as we can now. Accept your imperfections. Well, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I've learned to accept my imperfections. I've learned to know, also my dad gave me one great line of wisdom. You start out bald and no teeth, you end up that way. Just some get there sooner. Some get there sooner. I've learned to accept those imperfections. Am I always satisfied with those things? No. But can I tell you, I've learned to allow the Lord to lead me through those.
Right.
It's not always what I want. The outcome always doesn't work out for the best, but I've learned to trust in the Lord. Amen. Here's what 1 John 3:8 says. He said, he that committed sin is of the devil. Committed. That's another continual process. That means somebody literally living in sin. For the devil sinned from the beginning. For this purpose, listen now, the Son of God was manifest. What purpose? That he might destroy the works of the devil. What was the works of the devil? That he would commit sin continually. This is the purpose that Jesus has come. If you can tell yourself, you can admit to yourself that you're imperfect and you need a Savior, he can work in you the victory over the works of the devil. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have the victory of Jesus working in me than the sinful world working in me. Amen?
Right.
I'm looking forward to that. That's a good verse to mark up, 1 John 3:8. So let's see. This is the status here. The imperfection is the status of the old man, the Adam nature. The new man, Christ, and the old man, Adam, are in a constant conflict. Constant conflict. Have you ever been around somebody who just challenges you at every single word you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
You want to punch them right in the nose, don't you?
Yep.
I want to reach over you and punch them in the nose. You with me? In our flesh, we want to react to that. They're just constantly. Now, a lot of times people think that I'm that guy, but I love to challenge and debate. So my challenging and debate may seem argumentative at times. Just go with me here. Work with me here. Challenging is not always just a little debate, but I'm not, anyway, you hear me. All right, so what I want you to see is it's not the simple conflict as what we are here. I can disagree with you thinking that the best car on the planet is a 69 Charger with a Hemi in it. You might think it's a 2012 Z06 ZR1 Corvette. If you think it's a Pacer, we need to talk.
Right.
We can debate about that stuff. We can argue. We maybe even conflict about that. But can I tell you, what's going on inside of you is greater than anything we can debate here in this world, anything we can argue about in this world. What's happening inside is there's a constant conflict between Adam's nature and the nature of God within. Amen? The problem is we have to wonder and understand, are we going to yield to the works of God within us, or are we going to live to the natural man? We need to yield to the call of Jesus in our lives. Amen? So accept your imperfection. Simply illustrated like this. How do we know you're in conflict? There was a man, let's see how about this story, who had a son named Isaac, but he had a son previous to that. What was his name? Ishmael. Was he the promised seed? No. What ended up happening, they sent him and his wife, or him and his mother, gave him a bottle of water, and they sent him on a journey. Since that day, the Middle East has been in conflict against Israel, right? Am I right about that?
Right.
Yeah, they've been in constant conflict. That's a fleshly application to what's going on the inside. That conflict is raging, has been raging for thousands of years, and do you know the same type of conflict's going on within you right now? There's a promised seed within you that's fighting against that seed that's not within you. That outward oppression is trying to affect what's going on the inside. That seed is trying to overtake what's going on in Israel. All that's a constant conflict. That's a simple illustration of what's happening within. And I need you to notice, look at letter A here, the only one in number 2. The flesh is simply what? Not good. Why? Because it's imperfect. It's not complete. It will only be complete when we get to glory. And it'll never be what it needs to be on this side. That was all ruined in the garden with Adam. Amen? Amen. All right, a couple things about this now. There's a story. Here's your imperfections. There was a story about this gardener, and I can't recall who this was. Working in the field in the heat of the day, in the middle of all that was going on, they got into a conversation about this Adam and Eve in the garden. At the time this conversation was heated up, the owner of this property came up, and he was listening to this all taking place, and he heard these guys talking about it, and the one guy spoke up, the one gardener spoke up, and said, "Oh, that's just ridiculous. I could have made it through that garden, no problem, and we would have never been in this situation." He said, "Oh, is that so?" He goes, "Absolutely right, I can do it." He said, "Will you please come to dinner at my house tonight?" He said, "I'd love to." They go in, he comes in later that evening, he goes and washes up, and they have this 12-foot table there spread out, and in the middle of this table is a big sterling silver, a dome dish. He said, no sooner they sit down, the servant of the house came in and said, sir, you have a phone call. He looked over at the gardener and said, listen, you can help yourself to everything on this table, but what's underneath that sterling silver dome dish there is just for me. I said, okay, thank you very much. He said, I might be a few minutes. It was a long time. He's out there on a phone call, and that man is eating about all the stuff around the table, but within him is that fight. He's dying to know what's underneath that sterling silver dome. He's yearning with it. Man, I got to know what's in there. Come to find out, it wasn't too long. Within took over without. Pulls the lid off of that thing. Feathers flew everywhere. At the same moment he's standing there with the dome in his hand, the owner comes into the room and says, it's really that simple, isn't it? Put it in terms now. We can blame Adam for everything in the world, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you and I making the decision. If we are imperfect, what are we looking at? We're imperfect people. Accept that fact, and then praise God, there has been something made to make up for my imperfection, and that is the person of Jesus Christ. Amen? What I could not obtain, He has. Where I could not go, He has. The hill I could not climb, He has. The blood He shed that I could not, He did. Because of that, now we are made perfect in the sight of God. Amen? Amen. Amen. All right, a couple things on this quickly. Paul is saying Paul is in the flesh. He's saying these things. I'm a slave to sin. I'm under sin's influence. Anybody ever felt that way? I'm capable of sinning. I'm guilty of sinning and cannot free myself from sin's bondage. And I cannot keep myself from sinning. I cannot erase sin's presence in my life. How do you come to that conclusion? If you look with me in the verse here, in verse number 23, the last word there, members, it's simply talking about all this. This is all in the flesh, all full of sin. He's talking about that war. Paul is saying, I'm a slave to it. I'm capable of sinning. I'm guilty of sinning. I cannot free myself from sin. I cannot keep myself from sinning. I cannot erase sin's presence in my life. Why? Because my members are constantly wanting to sin. All of us are within that fight, is constant struggle. Here's what we're telling you, things to help me in the flesh. Number one, freely say I don't understand. Number two, accept that you're imperfect. Paul gives us all those illustrations now, but Paul found out that keeping from sin. Here's why. Not because he failed to exercise the will of God in his life. Just because you're at church today does not mean that somebody in here may have had an evil thought. You're doing the exercise, you're at the right place, you got your Bible in your hand, open on your lap, you're listening to the preacher, you've sung all of your hymns, but somewhere inside there's been a war going on. Oh, look at that. Look at this. I can't believe that. And all this is going on within. All this stuff is a fight within. So what are we seeing? He's failed to exercise just the will of God in his life. Doesn't know, in fact, that he's not going to sin. Can I tell you, you could be on the mountaintop this morning, and by this afternoon, greatness will fall. You can leave church if you're a preacher and you can see things happen, see people get saved. You can leave here today so excited about what God's done. You get home this afternoon, great is the fall. Yes, because that war is constantly going on. Remember that the flesh is simply not good. Do not lean to this. Lean to this. Number three, Mike, let's move quickly. Number two. I got more on number two. We've got to move on. Number three. Here's what I want you to see. Leave room for failure. That's kind of, some of you might think, wow, you're telling me it's all right, preacher, to fail? No. But I'm telling you, you're going to. I'm telling you that I am. Mm-hmm. You know, from Ronnie all the way around the room, everybody here's going to fail. You've got to leave room for that. What am I saying by that? Realize that every moment of your day, you're not going to be on the mountaintop. Every moment of your Christian life, you're not going to spend on the mountaintop. And I'm also going to say, not every other time, if you're not there, that you're not in the valley. There are times in the middle where we're just enjoying the goodness of God. Right?
Right.
We're just living there. It's not a struggle. We're not climbing to get up. Everything's fine. We're not down in the valley, filthy with dirt and mud all over us. We're not up top sitting under the sunlight of God. Everything's shining down on us. Sometimes we're just right in the middle, enjoying everything God's doing for us. I'm going to tell you, you're going to spend more time there than you are up or down, by the way. Mm-hmm. And in that, you need to realize it leaves room for failure. Listen, also do that without feeling guilty. All of us are going to sin. The greatest thing that you can do to confront that guilt is to realize that you have an advocate. His name is Jesus, that when you do sin, He takes that to the Father for you. Amen? I don't know about you, but I understand that I'm going to fail. I understand I'm going to fall. And I understand I'm not going to do everything just perfect all the time. But I'm glad I've got an advocate named Jesus. Amen?
Right.
Aren't you glad for that? All right, letter A. I want you to see with me in verse 19. Let's read this one quickly. He said, for the good that I would, or that I know, I do not. But the evil which I know not, that's what I do. So letter A is here. We are all going to do wrong. We're going to do wrong. Everybody in here is going to do wrong. If we look at the person Paul in a complete picture, some might say the greatest testimony of a Christian. Some put him in that category. He's the example that we should be following. If that's the case, what did he just tell you right there? If I'm that person, the greatest one that's ever lived, the best Christian known to man, if I'm that person, he's simply telling you, hey, I too have fallen. Don't feel so bad about it. Don't be guilty over the fact you and I are both going to fail. Let's look at verse 21. He said, I find that a law, that when I would or know to do good, look at that, evil is present with me. So letter B says evil is always present. Why, we could sit in the church and we could be jumping the pews, running the aisles, shouting down the house, just enjoying the blessings of God, and just filling it all up. Somebody might be in there going, that's ungodly, that's this. Evil is always present. Somebody can get saved, and while they're going to the car saying, that'll never last, that didn't even happen. Evil is always present. Always present. And if you understand here in verse 21, what he's expressing here, that not only is evil always present, but he's simply one more time defining the fact that there's a war going on. I find in a law that when notice, and when I'm trying to do good, I'm affected by that. There is a war constantly going on because evil is present. Letter C, overcome evil with good. That's in Romans 12 and 21. He said, not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. Can we get past that? Can we get past this civil war within us? Can we move past that? The Bible tells us there is a way of escape for every temptation. Do you really believe that? Do you believe the Word of God? Yes or no, church?
Amen. Yes.
Then there's a way out. When that civil war rises up within you, when that foot's about to go down an accelerator and get you past 35, there's something in there that ought to tell you not to be going that fast. You should be able to know to do good. I thought of it this way. I met my niece yesterday for breakfast, and they were in from Charlotte, and they were going down to the Sears Tower today. And they wanted to ask us about that glass that you can go out there and you can kind of step out about 3 feet outside the edge and you're encased in this 8-inch acrylic glass. I said, man, it is unbelievable beautiful. If it's a clear day, it'll be worth every moment. I said, but let me tell you this. In my flesh, all the way up in that elevator, I said, man, I can't wait. I'm going to walk right out there and take pictures. I just can't wait. I'm walking up to this thing, I'm going, come on, Ronnie, let's go. She's like, oh, no, give me a minute. And I walk up there, and my leg goes like this. If Rhonda was in here, she could tell you the truth. I stood there, my body would not allow me to go over there. My mind said go. But what I was seeing was not computing here, here, and here, and here, and here. Because I wanted to go out there, but my leg kept going like this. I could not make myself go out there. Why? Because once I'm out there, I'm free from stability. I'm free from the assurity of the foundation of this building. I'm living out on this edge. There's nothing underneath me because I can see it all the way down there. I'm going to fall. You know that spiritually?
Yeah.
You get out there on the edge and you get there and you know that you're not supposed to do that, but you just step on over anyway. I'll tell you what I did to make myself go out there. I had to literally turn around, walk out there backwards, and then turn around one more time. And realize I was outside. Now, any of you ever turned your back on the Lord? No hands? Done something you know you shouldn't have been doing? turned around again, seen where you were, and thought, what am I doing out here?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. And I thought about that when I was out there taking pictures. You know what encouraged me here? Boy, this is a good spiritual analogy. I think there's 4 of them windows out there. And what encouraged me that I could do this, listen now, is there was little kids out there in the bottom of that thing laying down, taking selfies of themselves. I'm talking about 5 or 6-year-olds that's just laying there taking pictures like there's nothing underneath them. I said, oh, well, if they can go out there, Mr. 45-year-old guy can go out there. Have you ever been in entrapment of sin when you see somebody else doing it and you didn't really see an effect on it? And then next thing you know, you were doing the same thing they were doing? You said, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Okay, I hear you. I'll move on. Number 4. Number 4, Mike. Let's look at the last one. Let's look at this. Admit your true feelings. These are going to help you in the flesh. Number 1, what are you going to do? You're going to freely say, I don't understand. Number 2, accept that you're imperfect. Number 3, leave room for failure. And number 4, admit your true feelings. Verses 24 and 25. He says, Paul, the supposed greatest Christian ever known, oh, wretched man that you are. Is that what it says? Oh, wretched man that you are, that you are, that you are. No. He says that I am. He realized himself that he's just not who he thinks he really is. Oh, wretched man that I am. Who shall deliver me from this body, from the body of this death? Who's going to do that? I need you to know that if I would have stepped out on that thing without Rhonda there, or with Rhonda standing there, if I would have been struggling to stay afloat, she would have not came out there to get me. I'm just telling you the truth. My niece who's here, the 2 girls that she brought with her, they said, oh, we're going out there. She said, I'm not even going upstairs. I'm not going there with you. Oh, wretched man that I am. Sometimes we're going to get so far out that we're going to see who we really are.
Mhm.
There's times in your life and times in your week that you're going to go through that you're going to have to simply realize you're not as good as you think you are. You're not as perfect as you think you are. You're not as right as you think you are. Oh, wretched man that I am. Can I tell you, all of us are wretched? Here's my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes right here by R.C. Sproul Jr. He said, the gospel isn't merely that God would save the wretch I once was, but, I love that he continues to save the same wretched man that I am. I don't know about you, but man, that speaks to me. Because there's not every day that I'm just living on top of the mountains. Not every day that I'm perfect and doing the will of God. There's days that I'm not doing just right. There's days you're not doing just right. And because of that, I'm glad He's still saving the wretched man that I am. I'm glad He saved who I was, but He's still working in me a perfect will to perform His goodness. Amen? All right, let me give you this closing. That's the only thing we have on number 4. The law, with all its excellence and glory. Can I tell you that the Bible calls the law good? So when you drive past Wisconsin here and you see that 35-mile-an-hour sign, don't curse that sign. The law is good. It keeps you protected and safe as you go. Talking about the law of God. You get outside the law of 35 down there, somebody's going to let you know that you broke the law. If you get into Hobart, they're going to pay you a visit. Right?
Right.
All right. Here's what I want you to see now. The law, with all of its excellence and glory, with all of its promises and even its threatening, it never has and never will redeem a man's soul from the devil's hell. Never. Never. You can live according to the law. You can uphold everything about it from top to bottom, and it will never get you to heaven. Nor has it ever hid a man's multitude of sin. Do you know what the law has done? It was revealed that we're all sinners. Amen. More than the speed limit. We're all sinners. All sinners. And if you're in the car, you're guilty. You're going just as fast. This is what I want you to see. The law has never saved anybody, never done anything, never covered a multitude of sins. It's only revealed it. There was only one work that could be done, and that was by the Lord Jesus Christ on the cross, in His death, and in His resurrection, has only saved us from the guilt of the law. I don't know about you, but I'm glad I'm saved today.
Right.
Nothing that I have done, but everything that He has done. All right. There's our message this morning. Now, as we give you this closing, I want to ask you some questions. Have you ever felt imperfect? You ever realized realize that you just failed and you need help? Sure, we all have. But somewhere along the way, we're going to have to seek out this wonderful person named Jesus to get us through. Because we can't do it on our own. I don't care how good of a law keeper you are. If you never went over the speed limit, which you'd be the only person in here ever to do that, but if you did do that, you would still need a Savior. If you kept every order that your mom and dad has ever told you in your life, your boss, whoever has been authority over you, if you've done everything perfect, you still need a Savior. If you paid your bills, taxes, everything on time, you've never been delinquent on a bill, everything, you still need a Savior. I'm telling you today, you're only going to become perfect in Jesus Christ. And that's on the inside. Because this member here is full of sin. It's always going to be constant trouble. Constantly going to get you in trouble. Constantly going to send you down the wrong path. I challenge you today as we look at this, things to help you, 4 things to help you in the flesh. I know I need it. I've marked things out in the margin of my Bible. There's times that I go back to Romans 7 and I just read these 4 things out loud to myself. Because I need help in the flesh. You need help today? Will you seek Jesus while he can be found? I'm talking to the saints of God, seek him while he may be found. If you need help, seek him. If you're lost and you don't know him, you need to get acquainted with him, you're doing this thing called life by yourself, you need Jesus. Find him today. Come to him and ask him to help you. Heal you, save you today. You can do that. I don't know your hearts today. Would you stand with us? Who's going to play, sing, do the song, Mike?
Yeah.
All right, while Mike sings or plays the song, I'd ask that you just for a moment take inventory of yourself. As we listen just for a few moments on this song, if you have a need in your life,